Hey everybody, welcome back to Speak. Today we are in assignment number 8. Assignment number 8 is only 2 parts. They're a little bit longer. The first is giving thanks and the second is wishbone. You know the deal. Make sure that you are doing the assignment. For assignment number 8, you're defining all your words, giving a couple of sentences, answering all the questions correctly, of course, and then giving your 1-paragraph essay with lots of details from either your life or the book, or even better, from both together. So let's talk, Melinda. We're still, of course, trying to figure out what it is that happened. We're being given clues, of course, and those clues are coming both in the form of what people say, not Melinda, of course, because she only speaks to the people that she trusts, and the things that Melinda thinks. So we're getting some of her thoughts. And what we know already is that she called the police, and everybody's mad at her for that. She was at Kyle Rogers' party. We learned that at the pep rally when the girl behind her was yelling at her and hitting her with their knees, and she's getting her hair pulled and getting pushed and whatnot down bleachers. But we also know through Melinda's mind, because she's thought about this, the fact that her friends haven't even bothered to ask her what happened or to know the truth, know what really happened. So they blame her for something that she didn't even do. Now, she did call the cops. We know that. But the question becomes, why did she call the cops? And apparently nobody seems to care because they're not asking her that. And she's not telling people, of course, because she can't think about it. She said the other day, she can't think about it. I mean, she hides mirrors. She hides that whole night from herself. And even though she said she can't stop thinking about it. So what happens is it's bothering her in the back of her mind, in her dreams, and just it's causing her serious anxiety. We know that. She's biting her lips. She's not cleaning herself. So we've got problems here. Let's find out. Giving thanks. The Pilgrims gave thanks at Thanksgiving because the Native Americans saved their sorry butts from starving. I give thanks at Thanksgiving because my mother finally goes to work and my father orders pizza. My normally harried, rushed mother always turns into a super strung out retail junkie just before Turkey Day. It's because of Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the start of the Christmas shopping season. If she doesn't sell 1 billion shirts and 12 million belts on Black Friday, the world will end. She lives on cigarettes and black coffee, swearing like a rap star and calculating spreadsheets in her head. The goals she sets for her store are totally unrealistic, and she knows it. She can't help herself. It's like watching someone caught in an electric fence, twitching and squirming and very stuck. Every year, just when she's stressed to the snapping point, she cooks Thanksgiving dinner. We beg her not to. We plead with her. We send anonymous notes. She doesn't listen. I just want to point out one thing. So mom overworks. She's a hard worker. There's nothing really wrong with that because you can do both. You can be a really hard worker and do great at your job and want to do well and want the job to do well. But you can also love your family, right? And spend time with them. Talk to them, God forbid. Because remember, this family doesn't even talk to each other, which is another major problem, which is a reason why she's able to get away without speaking, because they don't talk anyway. But more importantly, because of that, they're able to allow her problem to slip under the radar. And don't get me started about their parents. They can clearly see all these things. She's not hanging out with her friends. She's failing. She's not cleaning herself. She's biting her lips. Those are just some of the things. She sleeps in a closet, for crying out loud. And the mom just gave her a pillow. They know she's hiding her mirrors. They know that there's something wrong, but they don't see it. All right, I go to bed the night before Thanksgiving at 10 p.m. She's pounding on her laptop at the dining room table. When I come downstairs Thanksgiving morning, she's still there. I don't think she slept. She looks at me in my robe and bunny slippers. Oh, damn, she says, the turkey. I peel potatoes while she gives the frozen turkey a hot bath. The windows fog up, separating us from the outside. I want to suggest that we have something else for dinner, spaghetti maybe, or sandwiches, but I know she wouldn't take it the right way. She hacks at the guts of the turkey with an ice pick to get out the bag of body parts. Impressed. Last year she cooked the bird with the bag inside. Cooking Thanksgiving dinner means something to her. It's like a holy obligation, part of what makes her wife and a mother. See, this is funny. It kind of makes me laugh, right? So we're going to find out that she thinks that if she cooks Thanksgiving dinner, it makes her a good family. It's very ironic because she's not a good family. So maybe that's why she wants to do it so bad, to make up for being such an absolute crappy mom. I can't point out how she is as a wife. I don't know. I mean, remember, we found out actually that the night of the party, they weren't together. The mom came home at 2 and the dad came home at dawn, and they were at separate places. Sounds to me like they're having an affair, and that's exactly what Melinda thinks. So, but I'm not saying that, but OMG, just because you cook a good Thanksgiving dinner doesn't make you a good family. My family doesn't talk much, and we have nothing in common. But if my mother cooks a proper Thanksgiving dinner, it says we'll be a family for one more year. Kodak logic. Only in film commercials does stuff like that work. Finish the potatoes. She sends me to the TV to watch the parades. Dad stumbles downstairs. How is she? He asks before he goes in the kitchen. It's Thanksgiving, I say. Dad puts on his coat. Donuts, he asks. I nod. The phone rings. Mom answers. It's the store, emergency number 1. I go into the kitchen first. So which I can't drink because it burns my scabby lips. The turkey floats in the sink. Mom hangs up and chases me out with instructions to take a shower and clean my room. I soak it. All right, listen to this. This is very strange as well. So she had to be sent by her mother to go take a shower. I have to do that with my 11-year-old and my 10-year-old. I'm hoping that by the time they're in high school, they're going to be showering regularly because they're going to want to be clean, right? But listen to what she does. Very indicative of the fact that she's got a serious problem. I soak in the bathtub. I fill my lungs with air and float on top of the water, then blow out all my breath and sink to the bottom. I put my head underwater to listen to my heartbeat. The phone rings again. Emergency number 2. By the time I'm dressed, the parades are over and Dad is watching football. Confectioner Sugar dusts the stubble on his face. I don't like it when he bums around the house on the holidays. I like my dad clean shaven and wearing a suit. He motions for me to go out of the way so he can see the screen. Mom is on the phone. Emergency number 3. The long curly cord snakes around and around her thin body like a rope tying her to the stake. 2 drumsticks tips poke out of an enormous pot of boiling water. She is boiling the frozen turkey. It's too big for the microwave, she explains. It will be thawed soon. She puts a finger in her free ear to concentrate on what the phone is telling her. I take a plain donut from the bag and go back to my room. 3 magazines later, my parents are arguing. Not a rip-roarer, a simmering argument, a few bubbles splashing on the stove. I want another donut, but don't feel like wading through the fight to get it. They retreat to their corners when the phone rings again. Here's my chance. Mom has the phone to her ear when I walk in the kitchen, but she isn't listening to it. She rubs the steam from the window and stares into the backyard. I join her at the sink. Dad strides across the backyard wearing an oven mitt and carrying the steaming turkey by one leg. He said it would take hours to thaw, Mother's mom. A tiny voice squeaks from the receiver. No, not you, Ted, she tells the phone. Dad lays the turkey on the chopping block and picks up the hatchet. Whack. The hatchet sticks in the frozen turkey flesh. He saws back and forth. Whack. A slice of frozen turkey slides to the ground. He picks it up and waves it at the window. Mom turns her back to him and tells Ted she's on her way. After Mom leaves for the store, Dad takes over the dinner. It's the principle of the thing. If he gripes about the way she handled Thanksgiving, then he has to prove he can do a better job. He brings in the butchered dirty meat and washes it in the sink and with detergent and hot water. He rinses off his hatchet. Dad, just like the old days, right, Melly? Fellow goes out into the woods and brings home dinner. This isn't so difficult. Cooking just requires some organization and the ability to read. Now get me the bread. I'm going to make real stuffing the way my mother used to. You don't need to help. Why don't you do some homework, maybe some extra credit work to pull those grades up? I'll call you when dinner is ready. I think about studying, but it's a holiday, so I park myself on the living room couch and watch an old movie instead. I smell smoke twice, wince when glass shatters on the floor, and listen in on the other phone to this conversation with the turkey hotline lady. She says turkey soup is the best part of Thanksgiving anyway. He calls me into the kitchen an hour later with the fake enthusiasm of a father who has screwed up big time. Bones are heaped on the cutting board. A pot of glue boils on the stove. Bits of gray, green, and yellow roll in the burping white paste. Dad, it's supposed to be soup. Me. Dad, it tasted a bit watery, so I kept adding thickener. I put in some corn and peas. Me. Dad, pulling wallet from his back pocket. Call for pizza. I'll get rid of this. I ordered double cheese, double mushroom. Dad buries the soup in the backyard next to our dead beagle, Ariel. Wishbone. I want to make a memorial for our turkey. Never has a bird been so tortured to provide such a lousy dinner. I dig the bones out of the trash and bring them to art class. Mr. Freeman is thrilled. He tells me to work on the bird, but keep thinking tree. Mr. Freeman, you're on fire, Melinda. I can see it in your eyes. You're caught up in the meaning and the subjectivity of the effect of commercialism on this holiday. This is wonderful, wonderful. Be the bird. You are the bird. Sacrifice yourself to abandoned family values and canned yams. Whatever. At first, I want to glue the bones together in a heap like firewood. Get it? Tree, firewood. But Mr. Freeman sighs. I can do better, he says. I arrange the bones on a black piece of paper and try to draw a turkey around it. I don't need Mr. Freeman to tell me this stinks. By this point, he has thrown himself back into his own painting and has forgotten we exist. He is working on a huge canvas. It started out bleak, a gutted building along a gray road on a rainy day. He spent a week painting dirty coins on the sidewalk, sweating to get them just right. He painted the faces of school board members peering out the windows of the building. Then he put bars on the windows and turned the building into a prison. His canvas is better than TV because you never know what is going to happen next. I crumple the paper and lay out the bones on the table. Melinda Sordino, anthropologist. I have unearthed the remains of a hideous sacrifice. The bell rings and I look at Mr. Freeman with puppy dog eyes. He says he'll call my Spanish teacher with some kind of excuse. I can stay for another class period. When Ivy hears this, she begs permission to stay late too. She's trying to conquer her fear of clowns. She's constructing some weird sculpture, a mask behind a clown's face. Mr. Freeman says yes to Ivy too. She waggles her eyebrows at me and grins. By the time I figure out that this might be a good time to say something friendly to her, she's back at work. I glue the bones to a block of wood, arranging the skeleton like a museum exhibit. I find knives and forks in the odds and ends bin and glue them so it looks like they're attacking the bones. I step back. It isn't quite done. I rummage in the bin again and find a half-melted palm tree from a Lego set. It'll do. Mr. Freeman hangs on to everything a normal person would throw out. Happy Meal toys, lost playing cards, grocery store receipts, keys, dolls, a salt shaker, trains. How does he know this stuff could be art? I pop the head off a Barbie doll and set it inside the turkey's body. That feels right. Ivy walks past and looks. She arches her eyebrow and nods. I wave my hand and Mr. Freeman comes over to inspect. He almost faints with delight. Mr. Freeman, excellent, excellent. What does this say to you? Darn, I didn't know there would be a quiz. I clear my throat. I can't get any words out. It is too dry. I try again with a little cough. Mr. Freeman, sore throat? Don't worry, it's going around. Want me to tell you what I see? I nod in relief. I see. All right, so let's listen to what he says. Does he have anything in there? I see a girl caught in the remains of a holiday gone bad. All right, that's definitely true. With her flesh picked off day after day as the carcass dries out. Now, that's interesting. Her flesh picked off day after day. Now, that's speaking metaphorically. That's kind of what's happening to her. She's deteriorating. She's breaking down, right? So day after day, a little bit more of her is deteriorating. It's breaking off. Knife and fork are obviously middle-class sensibilities. The palm tree is a nice touch. A broken dream, perhaps? Plastic honeymoon? Deserted island? Oh, if you put in a slice of pumpkin pie, it could be a deserted island. I laugh in spite of myself. I'm getting the hang of this. While Ivy and Mr. Freeman watch, I reach in and pluck out the Barbie head. I set it on top of the bony carcass. There's no place for the palm tree. I toss that aside. I move the knife and fork so they look like legs. I place a piece of tape over Barbie's mouth. Me. Do you have any twigs, little branches? I could use them to make the arms. Look at that. She speaks. Why? She's into something. She's not thinking about what happened to her. It's also because it's Mr. Freeman. Ivy's there too, which is interesting. That's one of her old friends. But Ivy has been kind of, she hasn't been nice to her, but she hasn't been awful to her. Listen, Ivy opens her mouth to say something, then closes it again. Mr. Freeman studies my homely project. He doesn't say anything. I'm afraid he's pissed that I took out the palm tree. Ivy tries again. It's scary, she says, in a weird way. Not clown scary. How do I say this? Like you don't want to look at it too long. Good job, Mel. That's not the reaction I was hoping for, but I guess it was positive. She could have turned her nose up or ignored me, but she didn't. Mr. Freeman taps his chin. He looks way too serious to be an art teacher. He's making me nervous. Mr. Freeman, this has meaning. Pain. The bell rings. I leave before he can say more. Now, that's so important. She runs away from him because he's getting too close to the truth. He looked at her sculpture and he said, this has meaning, pain. Well, where is that pain coming from? It's coming from her. And she doesn't want to talk about it because she still can't talk about it. She doesn't want to relive that night. Whatever happens that night, she's hiding from it. And what is it doing to her? It's absolutely killing her. It's destroying her on the inside. Look at what it's doing to her socially. Look at what it's doing to her physically. Look at what it's doing to her mentally. Let's look at what it's doing to her spiritually. She's in a world of pain. It's a good word for her. And she needs to really, that's a good reason why this is called Speak. It's not just because she doesn't speak, but it's because she most needs to. That's what she needs to do more than anything else. Like she does. So please, ladies and gentlemen, finish this assignment. This was assignment number 8. Get all your work done and have a fantastic day. Thank you for your time.